Triratna Saranam Namo Amitabhaya Buddhaya, everyone. Let's start the seventh chapter of the conduct of aspiring bodhisattva, Bodhicharya Avatara, um, which I have translated as the conduct of aspiring bodhisattva. And the name of the seventh chapter is the perfection of enthusiasm. As we all know, this book was written by Buddhist master who existed during 7th or 8th century, whose name was Acharya Santideva. Okay, he was the Mahayana Buddhist master who created this book, which has 10 chapters. And we have already finished first 6 chapters, and now today we will go through the stanzas of this 7th chapter. Okay, so before going to stanzas itself directly, let's try to find out. Let's define the what is perfection of enthusiasm. Okay, enthusiasm is enthusiasm. We know that, but in the chapter is called originally Virya Paramita. Okay, Virya means the enthusiasm, excitement. That lightness to do anything, anytime, whenever you want. The and the perfection means to achieve that excellence in the enthusiasm, so that no obstacle can stop you. Especially when it comes to the Buddhist practice, no obstacle can stop you from acquiring or accumulating virtues and wisdoms. Okay, we all know that in order to realize the Bodhi, especially Samyak Sambodhi, you need to have evidence amount of merits and evidence amount of wisdom. So you need to accumulate those things, and in order to accumulate that, you need to have, a certain degree of or perfection of enthusiasm. Let's say like that. Okay, you need to have that enthusiasm, that energy, that lightness in your body and mind to do activities in order to acquire the wisdom and virtues. Okay, that is what meant by perfection of enthusiasm. So as the name itself suggests, Acharya Santideva will be talking about different ways of doing the practices in order to realize the perfection of enthusiasm. Okay, so let's go to the stanza and we'll discuss more in detail about these practices. So stanza 1, he says that evam chemo bhajet viryam virye botir eta sthita nahi viryam bina punyam etha vayum bina gati. So in this stanza he says in this way, evam chemo, the practitioner of patience. He talked about the practice of patience in earlier chapter, and having finished that, now he's talking about how to do. The practitioner of patience should engage in the practice of development of energy or enthusiasm or excitement or cheerfulness towards walking to the path of the Buddha. Okay, so he says that the practitioners of presence should practice enthusiasm. Why they should practice? Because Bodhi is dependent on Virya. Okay, in enthusiasm. If you don't have enthusiasm, you cannot work toward acquiring the virtues and wisdom. And without virtue and wisdom, Bodhi is not possible. That is why he is saying that the practitioner of enthusiasm should start the practice of, sorry, practitioner of patience should start the practice of practice of enthusiasm also. Nahi biryam bina punyam etha bayum bina gati. So just now I said that without virya, you cannot engage in accumulation of virtues, and without virtues, bodhi is not possible. Just like in order for anything to move, you need the air or wind. Similarly, in order to advance in the path of bodhi, you need the perfection of um, enthusiasm or energy. Okay, in the second stanza, he says, Kim Biryam, what is enthusiasm? And he says, it is kusal utsaha. It is excitement to do virtuous deed. And what is its opposition called? Tadvipache ka uchyate alasyam. He says its opposite are alasyam, which means laziness, kutsita sakti, which is attachment to the non-virtuous deeds, Bisad means sadness, and Atma, avamanyana means, disrespecting for oneself, disrespect for oneself, depreciating oneself, not seeing any good quality in oneself. So, and then other in the stanza 3, he says, Abhyapara sukha swada. So, lying, abhyapara means staying without doing anything. Sukha swada means just desiring to sleep, lying and desire to stay asleep. And nidra pasraya trishnana, like you have that desire, that wish to just um, lying down, you're lying your head in your pillow or any resting place. And also sansara dukha dukhanu dukhanu Dukha, there's two words there. Dukha anubegad. Okay, so dukha means dukha. Anubegad means when you are not disturbed by the sorrows or suffering of the world. If you are not moved by the suffering that is happening around you, then um, then laziness arises. So he is saying, what are the causes of laziness? So laziness arises because of the pleasure of being inactive, because of desire to just sleep, stay sleeping, because of not being disturbed by the sorrows of the world. Okay, abhyapara sukha swada nidra pasraya tristaya sansara dukha anubegat alasyam upajayate. Okay, klesa bagurika grata pravisto janma baguram Kim adyapi न जानासि मृत्योर्वदन magatam. Okay, so he's saying that you are controlled by the hunter of affliction. Okay, so you got in the trap of the birth and death. This life. If you once you are born, you will be dead. Okay, so you are in now trap of this life and death. Okay, birth and death. How you become in the trap? Because you are controlled by the hunter of your own afflictions of anger, attachment. Those are the hunter. And then you got attached, you got attracted by these hunters, and you take the birth in this in this world of realm, human realm. Okay, because of your afflictions, you have taken birth in this realm of human. Okay, and then you will be dead, you will be dying one day, you will be dead one day, you won't remain here forever. And this will happen in every birth. Next time you will take another birth, and then you will die from there also, and then you will take birth in another realm, and then experience all the sufferings, and then die from there, and then you will go another realm, and then it never finishes, because you are always controlled by the afflictions. And still you have reached, even having reached the mouth of the death, so many times you have died. But even then, why don't you understand this, that you are under the influence of afflictions? That's what he is saying in stanza 4. Klesa bagurika grata pravisto janma baguram. Controlled by the hunter of your affliction, you have entered the trap of birth. Okay, this life you may be happy, may be enjoying, but it is in fact is a suffering realm. You will be suffering here. It's a trap, and you fell in this trap because of your own afflictions. And having reached the mouth of the death again and again several times, why don't you understand this, that this is the trap which is thrown to you by the hunter of affliction? That's what this stanza 4 means. स्वयुत्थान मार्यमाणांस्त्वं क्रमेणैवं न पश्यति. Okay, yeah. I mean, there is some mistake here. Okay, this is the one. Okay. स्वयुत्थान मार्यमाणांस्त्वं क्रमेणैव न पश्यति. Tathapi nidram yasyeva chandala mahiso yatha. Okay, so we all have seen the slaughterhouse where there are animals and the butcher keeps on slaughtering them, and the animals who are there, this slaughtering is happening in front of them, in their eye, but still they are not, they don't have this, they this just enjoy eating there. They know someone is being killed in front of them, but they are just enjoying their life, in that slaughterhouse. In similar way, he's comparing this situation of slaughterhouse with our situation. Our situation is also same. Like, there are so many people who are dying in front of us. Okay, but you know, but we don't see it. Just like the buffalo in a butcher house doesn't see its own relatives are being killed. Similarly, we are not seeing, we are not arising from those death. We are enjoying the sleep. Bhayena udvichyamadasya, someone who is fearful, who is looking around with fear. Baddha margasya sarvata, whose door to escape is closed from everywhere. Katham te rochate bhuktum, katham nidra, katham rati. How can eating is desirable for this type of people? How can sleeping, how can you feel like sleeping in this type of situation? How can you enjoy the sensual pleasures in this type of situation where you are in the verge of death, you are in the verge of being killed? How can you enjoy this thing? How can you enjoy your sleep? Why don't you do something to get out of this, this dire condition, this suffering condition? Yavat samrita sambaram maranam sigram mesati Santejyapi tada lasyam akale kim karisyasi. Okay, so he is saying this one to, this stanza 7 is directed towards the peoples who thinks that, okay, let's collect some money now, let's finish this task, and then we will practice. Okay, we still have time, so we don't need to worry about practice now. Let's collect some money, let's do something for ourselves, for our families. Then when we have time, when we have leisure time, we'll practice. So some people have this type of attitude. So this stanza 7 is directed towards those type of people with those type of attitude. Okay, so he is saying that, okay, while you are busy gathering things here and there, that death will come suddenly. Okay, this is not like death will come while you are not doing anything. Okay, so death will come anytime suddenly. What can you do if you don't practice now? What will happen? What can you do if you, even if you, you know give up the laziness, give up the laziness at that wrong time. Okay, when the one when suddenly the death is in front of you, you think that you will practice the laziness, but at this time situation will be such. He will explain what how will be the situation at the time of death in the later stanzas. He says that in that time, even though you give up your laziness, even if you become alert, what can you do in that time? Because during the time of death, your situation will be like, your mental state will be like idam na praptam arabdhyam, idam ardam stitas, ardha kritam stitam. Okay, your mental state will be like, when you see the death, you will be thinking like, oh, I did not get this. Okay, idam na praptam arabdam idam ardha kritam. Okay, this was started but left half finished. Akasmat mrityu ayato. Okay, the death came suddenly. Ha hato asmi chintayan. Okay, so at that time your worry is only like this. Oh, death has come so suddenly. I haven't finished this thing. I have just started this thing. I haven't finished, it is left half finished. Oh, this has come suddenly. I am dying. So your mental state will be like that when you see the death suddenly. Not only that, Soka bega samuchan, sasru rokte cheda nanan, bandun nirasan sampasyan, yamaduta mukhanita. Not only that, is going with what you are thinking, as it was said in the earlier stanza. You will be seeing your relatives who are in distress, whose eyes are swollen, red, teary, sad face, because you are going to die. So when you are lying on your deathbed, you'll see this thing. Okay, your relatives are are really crying in distress. Their face is sad, they're crying, swollen eyes, red eyes, as well as you will see the faces of messenger of death. How scary their faces are. You'll be starting seeing in one place your relative's face, sad face, gloomy face, and in other side you will see the face of the messenger of death. And then so papa smriti santaptam. Okay, in that stage, not only that, okay, you will remember all the non-virtues did in your life. Okay, and then you will be tormented by the memories of your own non-virtuous deeds. And then also Srida one Nadan, Srida one Nadansta Narakan. Okay, so you will start hearing the disturbing sounds of the hell if you are going to that hell, wherever you are going to take in the birth. You will hear the disturbing sounds. Okay, Trasochara Biliptango, distress, and distress. You just you will be smeared with the your own excrements, okay, faces with the fear. You will leave your you will defecate and you start urinate in that deathbed, and you will be smeared with those things, and you will be very distressed in that stage. At that stage, what will you do? How can you practice the patience? How can you practice the enthusiasm? So it is very not wise to leave the practice for the later. Okay, so you should think yourself as you are the alive fish. Okay, that's what he's saying in stanza 11. Jiva matsya ivas asmiti. I am like a alive fish who can be eaten, who can be you know taken by anyone, who can be killed by anyone. So this fear is very it is very prudent for you to have this fear, thinking that I'm like a live fish who can be catch anytime. That's what we do to fish, isn't it? We go to fishing and we catch the fish, or if we don't catch the fish, another big fish will kill and kill small fish. Okay, that's what happens in the fish. So Acharya Santideva is saying that it is wise for you to have similar fear, thinking that I'm like a fish, a live fish. Now, what to talk about? What to speak about the unbearable softening of the hell for the one who has committed the heinous crime, okay, heinous deeds. Now here, someone, okay, let's talk a little bit about laziness. Okay, someone who is sleeping on the bed, okay, who doesn't want to get out from the bed, they're enjoying the sleeping. What will make them get out of the bed? Only one thing will make them get out of the bed is the fear. If they see the tiger coming, they will jump out of the bed. If they see the snake, forget about snake. If you see the cockroach, he will jump out of the bed. Okay, so that fear of something is necessary for someone to get out of that laziness. Okay, and then develop the energy. So now Acharya Sampradeva here he is talking about the suffering of the hell, so that because of that fear your laziness will go. Okay, that's how you practice the enthusiasm. You need to contemplate about the sufferings of the fear, I mean hell, suffering of the death, suffering of the result of heinous crime you might have done in the past which you don't remember now. You might be living your life very piously here in this life, but you can't be certain that you were living in similar way in your past life also. You never know what type of heinous crime you have done in your past life, and the potential for the result of that past crime is still there inside your mind to ripen. And once that ripens, you'll definitely bear the suffering. And if you are unlucky, then you will go to the hell and bear tremendous amount of suffering in the hell. So if you contemplate like that, your laziness will go. Okay, you will never want to sleep in that bed now. Now you will just get up and then try to find out, okay, what are the ways of escaping from these sufferings. Okay, so this type of contemplation is very necessary. Buddhists do this type of contemplation to get rid of their laziness and develop the strength of enthusiasm, energy, power. Okay, so where were we? Okay, so in stanza 11, he's saying that what to talk about the suffering, unbearable suffering that you're going to experience in the one who has committed the heinous crime will have to bear. Sprista usno the ke napi sukumara pratapse कृत्वा च नारकं कर्म kim evam swastamasate. Now here also he's talking about the result of on actions or non-virtuous action you might have done. Okay, you might think that, oh, I haven't hurt anyone in this life, but you might have hurt in your life. Okay, so our mind, this life is not the only life we were living. This is not the end of the life, and this is not the start of the life also. So since innumerable times, okay, we have been living, dying, living, dying, living, dying. Okay, so in those life, you might be have done, might have done some terrible, I mean, crimes, and that result of that, can ripen in the hell. And now in this life, even a small toss, mere toss of the hot water in your body, you are so delicate that you get burned with that mere toss of hot water. Then even having done the hellish deeds, you might have done hellish deed. How can you sleep, remain so comfortably in your bed? Okay, you should be worrying about the suffering you'll have to bear in the hell. How can you remain so comfortably? Kritva च narakam karma kimevam swastam asate. How can you live comfortably like this? निरुद्धं फलाकाङ्क्षिन् सुकुमार बहुव्यथ मृतग्रस्तो मराकार हा दुखित विहन्नसे. Okay, you want the good result without doing any effort, and then you are prone to suffering, but you have the body which is so delicate that you can't bear the even a small amount of suffering in this life. You are prone to death, but you think yourself as an immortal. Oh miserable person, you are destroying yourself. Oh ha dukhita bihanna se, you are destroying yourself. Oh miserable person, you want the good effect, I mean good result without doing anything. Niruddham palakanchi Sukumar Bahubeta, your body is so delicate, but you are so prone to. You have done so much, negative. You might have done so much negative deeds in the past that you are prone to the great suffering, and you think yourself immortal, but in fact you are prone. You are prone to death. Still, you don't do anything about that. Oh miserable person, you are destroying yourself. You're wasting your energy. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your precious human life by not doing anything, by staying idle. That's what he will be saying in he is saying in stanza 15. Manasyam navamasadya tara dukha mahanadim muda kalo na nidraya yam no durlabha puna. Okay, so in this stanza he's saying that you have got this precious human life, this precious body, human body. You have potential to, it's like it is this body is like the boat which can lead you out of the great suffering. Okay, not only of human life but other six realms and three realms. So after having reached this human life, the boat of the human life, cross the great river of the suffering. Use this human life to cross the great river of suffering. Oh fool, this is not a time to sleep. This boat is very rare to get again. Iyam no durlabha punah means this boat is very difficult to get again. Mura, oh stupid person, it is not time to sleep. Kalo no nidrayam. Okay, that's what he's saying. So he's saying that wake up, practice, use this body, cross this river of the suffering, great suffering. Mukta dharma ratim srestam ananta rati santatim rati raudra raudatya asyadau dukha hetau katham tava. Mukta dharma ratim srestam. So he's saying that um, having abandoned, okay, rati means love or passions. Mukta means having abandoned. Sreshta dharma, sreshta dharma means supreme dharma, which has potential for you, potential to take you out of the suffering. So living that love for this dharma, which has potential to take you out of the suffering, which can give you continuous, everlasting pleasure. How can you have katham tava? How can you have, rati raudatya hasyado? So how can you have, patience for the acts and for the activities such as excitement, guffaw, okay? So which are the cause of suffering? So how can you have desire for such type of, activities which are the cause of suffering? You should have, desire for you should have patience for the supreme dharma. You should not abandon that love for the supreme dharma, desire for the supreme dharma. But here you are enjoying, you know, the cause of suffering, such as excitement, guffaw, and so on. अविषाद बल व्यूह तात्पर्यात्म विधेयता Paratma samata chaiva paratma parivartanam. Now he is saying that one should have what type of qualities he's saying. He's just listing the quality of practitioners. Uh, so he's saying that abhisada balabiva. He's saying that one should have group of qualities such as cheerfulness. Abhisad means depression. Abhisad means the opposite of depression, which is cheerfulness. And balabiva. Bal means strength. Biha means it's a group, okay? Group of these qualities. He's saying cheerfulness, strength. Tatparya means, you are logical, you know what to talk when, okay? You have the wisdom. Um, Tatparya, Atma Videta means self-disciplined. And Paratma Samata Chaiva. And also, ability to see oneself and others equal. And Paratma, Parivartan means ability to put oneself in others' shoes. Okay, exchanging oneself from to with others, or it's same as saying that putting oneself in others' shoes. Okay, experiencing what another person is, how another person is going through the difficulties of experiencing their difficulties. Okay, so one should have these type of qualities in order to practice, in order to work or advance in the Buddhist path. नैव अवसाद कर्तव्य कुतो मे बोधिरितये नैवावसाद कर्तव्य कुतो मे बोधिरितयेत् यस्मात् तथागतः satyam satyavadid muktaman. Okay, now here he is saying that some people have low self-esteem. They think that how can I achieve the enlightenment? How can enlightenment is possible? And he is saying that you should not have this type of depressing thought, because you having this type of depressing thought is because you are not trusting Buddha. Here Tathagat it means Buddha, okay? So another word to to say Buddha is Tathagata. Okay, another name for the Buddha is Tathagata. So because you should not why you should not have, because the Tathagata who always tells the truth, okay, he always tells the truth, have said that about this truth. Okay, what is the truth is that everyone can achieve enlightenment. So you should not get depressed thinking. So if you're getting depressed thinking that how can I achieve enlightenment, how is in my enlightenment possible, then you are negating, you are showing your distrust toward the Buddha himself. You are not believing what Buddha is saying. So you should never do that. Okay, you should believe, and Buddha has said that. Buddha has always spoken the truth, and he has said that everyone can achieve enlightenment. तेऽप्यासन दंश मशका मच्छिका कृमयस्तथा यैरुत्साहवशात् प्राप्ता दुरापा बोधिरुत्तमा. Okay, in this stanza he's saying that he's saying that they two means Buddha and Bodhisattvas two existed once upon a time as birds, mosquitoes, flies, those small type of parasite worms. But due to this strength of um, enthusiasm, dependent on this enthusiasm, they also obtained this rare supreme enlightenment. Okay, even birds, mosquitoes, flies can obtain the enlightenment. They can also be in enlightenment if they have enthusiasm. So enthusiasm, energy, excitement to do the virtuous deed, to collect the accumulate the merits, to accumulate the wisdom. Enthusiasm is necessary. If you have enthusiasm, even if you are bites and mosquitoes, you can obtain the rare supreme enlightenment. And in stanza 19, it says, Kimuta aham naro jatya sakto gyatum hitahitam sarva gya nitya anutsargat bodhim kimna payanu napnuya aham. Okay, here he is saying that, okay, Buddha has said that even though they were also once upon a time mosquito flies, and due to this enthusiasm, they obtain the rare supreme opportunity. At least I am born as human. I'm not a mosquito now. In this life, I'm a human being, and I'm able to understand what is good and what is bad. So if I don't abandon, if I don't leave the path shown by uh, niti sarvagya niti means the path shown by or teaching shown by omniscient, then how would not I attain bodhi? If a mosquito can attain the bodhi, how can I not attain the bodhi if I don't give up the path shown by the Buddha? So these stanzas, 17, 18, and 19 are to counteract those people emotions or mental thought of negative thoughts of those people who are depressed, who don't have self-confidence. Okay. अथापि हस्तपादादि दातव्यम इति मे भयम् गुरु गुरु लाघव मूढत्वम तन्मे स्याद् विचारत. Okay, so and if someone is not practicing because they thought they heard about the story of Buddhas giving up their body, sacrificing their families, all those things, because of that fear, if they think that in order to be Bodhi, you need to go through this type of terrible suffering of giving up your own hands, legs. If that is your fear, then this fear is because of your ignorance. You are not contemplating about what is heaviness and what is not heaviness, what is lightness. Guru Laghava Mudatvam Tanmi Sada Vicharatam. So you are not contemplating what is heaviness and what is lightness. Due to this ignorance, you are getting this fear of that, like you have to go through all the sufferings of donating hands and legs. Now, in the next stanza, you will be saying that you will see that he is comparing the suffering of the practice with the suffering of the suffering in the hell, and then he is saying that compared to those suffering in the hell, this suffering of practice is very very minor compared to that suffering. Okay, let's go to stanza itself. छेतव्य च अस्मि भेतव्यो दाह्य पाठेयोपनेकस कल्पकोटि असङ्ख्यया न च बोधि भविष्यति. So due to my causes and conditions, due to my karma, due to my non-virtuous deeds in my past lives, innumerable, incountable number of life, due to that result, I will be cut down, stabbed, burned, tossed around several times for innumerable number of years, eons, and even bearing those type of suffering, I will still not achieve bodhi. Okay, those suffering in this realm of existence is also a suffering. And he's enlisting the type of suffering you will be bearing in this type, and no matter how long you suffer in that suffering, you will still not achieve the bodhi. Idam tu me paritam dukham. Okay, now he's talking about the suffering which we have to bear during the walking in the path. Is like he's saying it is a calculated suffering. Okay, which you are bearing in order to realize the bodhi. If you bear this suffering, you will realize the bodhi. But if you bear the suffering of hell's realms, no matter how much you bear that suffering, you will not still you be enlightened. Okay, this practice is the calculated suffering to realize the bodhi. It's like the pain which is produced, okay, when you try to remove the any thorn in your body, which is stuck in the body. If you try to remove that thorn, you are creating the pain to remove that thorn. So this practice, the suffering of the practice is same as that pain which you're producing in your body in order to remove the thorn which is stuck in the body. So it's a calculated suffering, and this suffering, result of this suffering is the happiness bodhi in the future. सर्वेऽपि वैद्या कुर्वन्ति क्रिया दुःखैररोगताम् तस्मात् बहूनि दुःखानि हन्तुं सोढव्यम् अल्पकम्. So all type of physicians, anyway, in your see in your worldly life also, every type of disease is cured by uncomfortable clinical treatment regime. Okay, even the medicine you take will be bitter, it won't be sweet. So any disease will be cured through the uncomfortable clinical treatments. Okay, that is why. So in order to get rid of the big suffering, the suffering you might um, have to bear in the hell, you need to bear the small suffering of this practice, small discomfort. This suffering which you acquire during walking in the path, during practice, is a minor suffering. So you need to tolerate this suffering so that you can protect yourself from going towards the more suffering of the hell. Kriyam imam क्रियामिमामप्युचितां वरवैद्यो न दत्तवान् मधुरेण उपचारेण chikitsati mahaturan. So here he's saying about, Bharavaidya means the Buddha. He's referring to the Buddha. So he's saying that although, extreme treatments like giving up your own body for other people are really effective to cure the, diseases of, past negative, suffering of the past negative karmas. But the skilled physician, like Buddha, would not recommend that for the newbies, okay, new practitioners. They will treat the serious disease with more gentler approach. Madhuredo upacharena chikitsati mahaturan. So he will cure the big diseases, serious diseases with more gentle approach. Okay, so the sacrificing your life, sacrificing your body, sacrificing yourself is for the advanced high level of practitioners who have developed certain level of wisdom in that. For them, there is no difference between own body and the piece of vegetable in front of them. There's no difference. So only those realized beings can donate their body to other people. But for us who are new practitioners, who are just entering in the path, the Bharavaidya means the skilled physician, the Buddha. The Buddha's teaching are tailored in such a way that it fits on to with the every being's capacity of other every beings. He doesn't give one teaching to everyone. He gives different teaching according to the capacity of the student. That's what this stanza is saying. Okay, and those extreme practices are for only those who are capable of doing that, not for everyone. You don't need to kill yourself to do the practice. Okay, so your disease will be cured by Buddha with gentle approach. So you don't need to worry that you have to give your body in order to realize Bodhi. No, you don't need to give your body in order to realize the Bodhi. If that is the fear of not entering in the path, then that fear is useless, which has developed because of your ignorance about what is heavy and what is lightness, what is difficult and what is easy. Okay, let's go to next stanza. आदौ शाकादिदानेऽपि नियोजयति नायक तत्करोति क्रमात् पश्चात् यत् स्वमांसान्यपि त्यजेत्. Okay, So here he is saying that initially the Buddha will train you, okay, through the Buddha will train you through, donation of trivial things like vegetable. Anyone can give, nowadays vegetable is very expensive, but and those time, vegetable will be grown on the, field. You just throw the seed and then vegetable will grow there. So those type of vegetable is very easy to give to anyone, it doesn't cost you many. So in that context, Acharya Santideva, he is from 7th or 8th century, so he's talking in the context of the 7th or 8th century situation. Okay, so he's saying that first initially Buddha will train you in the habit of to develop the habit of donation, giving, through giving the trivial things like vegetable, okay, and so on, okay. And then only once you get into, that habit of giving your stuff to other people, then, giving away of your own flashes for your own body for others will happen slowly, gradually, okay. Okay, so now let's go to second. Yada sakya suiva pragya soma sepi upajayate mansa asti त्यजत tasya tada kim nam duskaram. Now, when with the wisdom, with the practice of wisdom, you see there's no difference between your own body and your vegetable in the plate in front of you, then how difficult will be for this type of person who has developed this wisdom, that he doesn't see any difference between own body and the vegetable, then giving up for this type of person, giving up the own body, own flesh, own body to others, what difficult task would be for this type of person who doesn't see any difference through practice, any difference between own body and the vegetable, okay. And this habit develops from the higher practices of wisdom. Practice, it develops in the practitioners of, advanced practitioners, not for the practitioners like us, okay. So practitioners not like us should give, have developed the habit of giving by giving, small things, not the big things. न दुखी त्यक्त पापात्वात् पंडित्वान् न दुर्मना मिथ्या कल्पनया चित्ते पापात् काये एतो व्यथा. Okay, here in this stanza 27, he's talking about the causes of, what are the causes of physical and mental pain. Okay, he is saying that the body will suffer through the non-virtuous deeds. Okay, if you, for example, if you kill someone else, which is non-virtue done by body, and someone will kill you definitely, not in, maybe if not in this life, then definitely next life, coming lives, okay. So cause of your physical pain is your non-virtues, okay. And what is the cause of your mental pain? That is the cause of your mental pain is wrong view, mithya kalpana, wrong view is the, your view that I really exist, that another person really exists, that really wanted to hurt me, you know, he is after me or she is after me. This type of, wrong view you have in mind is the main cause of your suffering, mental suffering. And you hitting other people through your body, hitting other people through your speech is the cause of your physical body. So if you live wrong imagination, then your mind won't suffer. No dukhi tekta papatvat, and if you leave, if you drop that, um, physical violence, verbal violence, then your body will be in the ease. Your body will be relaxed. You will not have the body pain. That's what he's saying. He's saying that what are the causes of body and mental pain, okay. Punyena kaya sukhita. Now in this stanza 28, he's saying same thing in whatever he said in 27. So punyena kaya sukhita, by doing the virtuous deeds, by saving other people's life, by not quarreling, your body will be relaxed. Okay, there will not be suffering in your body. And if you develop the wisdom, if you realize everyone is dependent, originating, everyone is nothing is permanently individually existing, everything depends upon causes and condition. If you realize that, that means pandithena manasukhi. Then if you realize that, your mind will be happy. Punyena kaya sukhita pandithena manasukhi tistan paratam sansare kripalu kena khiditi. So those of you who refrain from harming other people, those who have the wisdom in their mind, those who live for the sake of other beings in this world, those who have the compassion for other people, then why would he get depressed? The cause of depression is because you are harming other people physically, mentally. You don't have compassion for other people. That's why you are depressed. So if you don't have other people mentally, if you don't have another people physically, if you have wisdom, right wisdom, if you are compassionate, why would you get depressed? So he's saying, what is the cause of depression here? For the depressed people, okay, who always are depressed, unhappy, sad, who just want to, who sees everything, gloomy, dark environment everywhere, who think that everyone is coming to attack them. Okay, so this stanza is for those type of mentality. So if you are depressed, so that means you have harmed other people previously. That is the that is the cause of your suffering, mental and physical suffering. Basically, that is what he is saying here. छपयन् पूर्व पापानि पटि छन् पुण्य सागरान् बोधिचित्त बलादेव सावकेभ्यो विशीघ्र शीघ्र साग्रह शीघ्र 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 okay. So if you are in the Mahayana path, that means you in Mahayana path, obviously bodhicitta, development of the bodhicitta is must. If you have developed the bodhicitta, then you with the force of bodhicitta, you will destroy your harmful deeds, previous harmful deeds, and you will accumulate the oceans of merits. And in this way, you will even reach the bodhi swifter than the Sravakas. Okay, in Sravakayan, there is no talk about bodhicitta. They talk about only renunciation. But in Mahayana, they talk about compassion. I mean, it doesn't mean that I'm saying Sravakas don't have compassion, but bodhicitta means like once you have renounced the world, you come back to help other beings. Okay, Sravakas, once they renounce the world, suffering world, they don't have that skill to come back. But Mahayanis is the path of the achieving full right bodhi enlightenment, bodhi of the Samyak Sambuddha. Then they during this practice they develop that skill also. They develop the renunciation, skill of renunciation, as well as they develop the skill of coming back when it's necessary for to help the suffering beings. Okay, so in this stanza 29 he is saying that with the help of this the strength of this bodhicitta we will reach enlightenment even faster than Sravak people, Sravakyanis. Okay, those who are in hearer path. Okay, Sravakas are called in English, I think they are translating it as a hearer path. एवं सुखात् सुखम गच्छन् को विसीदेत सचेतना बोधिचित्त रथम प्राप्य सर्वखेद श्रमापहम. Okay, now here he is saying that if you have bodhicitta, if you are riding in the vehicle of bodhicitta, okay, so in order to go, it is a metaphor. Okay, in order to go from this side, this place to that place, you use the vehicle, isn't it? So in order to get enlightenment, I mean to transition from this ordinary being to the Arya being, enlightened being, you take a vehicle. Vehicle is nothing than teaching. Okay, so you take this teaching, which he is comparing as a labeling as a vehicle. Okay, so teaching of bodhicitta, having obtained this teaching of bodhicitta, which is capable of taking away, removing, or destroying. Okay, apaha, destroying every type of depression, every type of tiredness. You go from happiness to happiness, more happiness towards more happiness. Then in that case, who have ridden, who is riding the vehicle of bodhicitta, who will get depressed? Because you don't have bodhicitta, that's why you are depressed. Develop the bodhicitta. Those who have bodhicitta, who are riding in the vehicle of bodhicitta, how can they become depressed? Because this vehicle will lead you from suffering towards more suffering. It won't lead you towards the I mean, sorry, not suffering, it's happiness, okay? My goodness, bodhicitta doesn't take you suffering, okay? Bodhicitta will take you from happiness towards more happiness. It won't take you towards the suffering, okay? Okay, let's go to second stanza, 31. छन्द स्ताम रति मुक्ति बलम छन्द स्ताम rati mukti balam satwartha siddhaye. So in order to realize the goal for the sake of beings, which means in order to realize the bodhi or anything that will help any beings, one should have the power of chanda, means desire, to collect the desire to practice. Okay, chanda. Stam means that haughtiness, that firmness, that no matter what type of obstacles comes in front of you, you don't buzz from your don't get distracted from your path. Stam. Rati means patience. Okay, affection. You have the patience to practice. You are like like a alcoholist has a patience for alcohols. Similarly, you have that addiction of practice. That's the patience here. And mukti balam. Mukti means letting go of, renunciating. If you are not capable of doing something, just dropping it, not getting emotionally attached to anyone, anything, or anyone. um, so you should have this power in order to in order to walk in the Buddha's path. And for the development of power of desire, you should always contemplate about the fear. You should be fearful of suffering, and you should contemplate about what are the good result of having desire for acting virtuously. So you need to talk about the suffering as well as good results. Okay, what is the effect of harmful effect of your harmful deeds, heinous deeds, and what is the effect of a result of your virtuous deed? If you contemplate, and if you get motivated by a good result, and then get fearful of that harmful result, then you develop the desire to practice. Okay. Sandam dukha bhayat kuryat anusamsanश्च भावयन् एवं विपक्षम उन्मूल्य एतेत उत्साह वृद्धये छन्द मान रति त्याग तात्पर्य बसिता बलै. Okay, now he is enlisting the type of qualities or types of power you should have. You should try to develop in order to remove the opposition. Okay, vipaksha means evam vipaksham unmulyam. So vipaksha means opposite of enthusiasm. So opposite of enthusiasm is laziness. So he's saying that having removed this laziness by the use of power of desire, chanda. Man means power of pride. Rati means, as I said, patience. Tyaga means renunciation. Your ability to not get attached to anything. Renounce. if some action is not beneficial to us, yourself and others. Tatparya means having wisdom, and then Basita Balai means the strength of self control. So these type of qualities are required to develop enthusiasm. So he will be in remaining stanzas. He will be explaining more about these qualities. Okay, so these qualities are necessary to exert effort for the development of perfection of enthusiasm. So we need to try to remove the opposition of enthusiasm, that is try to remove the laziness by the use of this power and exert effort to develop the enthusiasm. That's what he's saying in stanza 32. एवं विपक्ष्यम उन्मूल्य यतेतोत्साह विर्धये छन्दमान रति त्याग तात्पर्य बसिता बलै. Now he will be talking about power of desire, how to develop the power of desire, how to perfect that desire in order to perfect the practice of the enthusiasm. अप्रमेया मया दोष हन्तव्या स्वपरात्मनो एकैकस्यापि दोषस्य यत्र कल्पाढ वै क्षय. So he's saying that I need to remove infinite number of faults, not only of myself as well as others. Aprameya maya dosa hantavya soparatmano. Not only for myself but other also. I need to remove the suffering. I mean cause of suffering. Or numbers of infinite numbers of fault, defects which are present in me as well as other. I need to work hard to remove those. Ekaikasyapi dosasya. Now, each of those faults, requires the ocean of eons. That vast amount of time they required in order to get removed. Each and every fault of those faults requires the oceans of eons. That's how difficult to remove the faults which is present in yourself as in others. Tatra dosa chayarambe lesopi mama nekchede. However, I don't see even a small, tiny bit of my initiation for the destruction of those faults. Aprameya betha bhaje nora sputati mekatham. Imagine from the innumerable time of lifetime in the past, in innumerable number of life, how many non-virtuous deeds we might have done, and potential of ripening those cause of those or seed of those non-virtues is still lies with us, which makes us liable to innumerable amount of suffering. And by remembering those suffering, how can my chest doesn't burst with fear? I should be very so fearful that my chest should burst. Aprameya betha bhaje, liable to those who is liable to prone to those suffering. Na ura nora sputiti me katham. Sputati me katham. So how can my chest doesn't burst with the fear? How can I really live life so relaxed and comfortable, doing nothing, being lazy, lying on the bed? गुडामया अर्जनीयाश्च बहव स्वपरात्मनो तत्रैकैकगुणाभ्यासो भवेत् कल्पाणवेन वा. Okay, so I have to, in order to achieve the bodhi, I need to remove all the faults in me, and removing that each and every faults requires eons, oceans of eons. That's what he said in 33. Now in 35, stanza 35 is saying that similarly, in order to ever acquire bodhi, I need the huge number of virtues. Not only removing faultiness is important, but accumulating virtue is also necessary for myself and other also. Okay, in Mahayana, you don't talk about only myself. Okay, we talk about each and every human beings. So our practice is for each and every human beings, not only for me. Guda maya arjaniyascha bahava soparatmano. So I need to know on the huge number of virtues for myself as well as others. Tatrai कैक गुणाभ्यासो भवेत् कल्पार्णवै न वा. So in order to acquire even each of those virtues, even eons of oceans of eon might be or might not be enough. That's what he's saying in stanza 35. So in 33 he was talking about non-virtues and faults, defects in you, and then in 35 is talking about the good qualities or virtues or merits you need to be accumulating. गुडलेसे भी नाभ्यासो mama jata kadachana. So here also he's saying that even a tiny bit of my practice has happened. Even a tiny bit of my practice happened. Okay, there's some mistake here. गुडलेसे भी नाभ्यासो mama jata kadachana. Even a tiny bit of practice, my practice happened toward the accumulation of virtues. I haven't even collected even a tiny bit of virtues. Britha nitam maya janma. Okay, uselessly I I wasted this wonderful life. Katham chil labdam ut, ut, uttamam. Okay, labdam adbhutam. There is two things. Katham chil labdam adbhutam. So this wonderful life I obtained somehow, but I just wasted this life in vain. I didn't even collect even a tiny bit of virtues. That's what he's saying in stanza 36. गुडलेसेऽपि नाभ्यासो मम जात कदाचन बिथा नीतं मया जन्म कथञ्चित् लब्धम् अद्भुतम्. न प्राप्तं भगवत् पूजा महोत्सव सुखम मया न कृता शासने कार दरिद्रासा न पूरिता. Okay, in order to collect the virtues, you need to, either there are several ways of accumulating virtues. One of them is, worshipping of the Bhagavad means Buddha Bodhisattvas, or celebrating the, special auspicious occasions like the day when Buddha was born, the day he left his house, the day he acquired the enlightenment, the day he started the first teaching, the day he achieved the nirvana. These are the auspicious occasions which if you celebrate, then you accumulate, lots of virtues. And another way is that if you serve the, reign of Buddha, if you serve the Guru, if you facilitate them give the teaching, if you print the, scriptures, if you create the stupas, these are all the virtuous deeds which you are giving your input in order to fulfillment, flourishing of the Buddha's reign of the Buddha. So these will create lots of virtues. So this is another way of creating virtues. Or you can create the virtues by giving donations, fulfilling the hope of the destitute or poor being by helping them get out from their destitute state. Okay, so Acharya Santideva is saying, the praptam bhagavad puja, neither I did the, neither did I had the pleasure of worshiping Buddha, mahotsava sukham maya, nor did I, rejoice the auspicious festival related to the Buddhas, nakrita sasane kara, nor did I do anything for the flourishing of reign of the Buddha. Daridra sa na purita, nor did I, fulfill the hope of destitute. So I didn't do anything to collect the virtues, to accumulate the virtues. So I just wasted my life, as he said in the previous stanza. Bhitevyo na bhayam dattva dattam artanam sukhinam krita. So this another way of accumulating virtue is, you those who are frightened, you give reassurance to them. Or if you see someone, those who are suffering, then you try to remove those suffering. Also will help you to accumulate virtues. So he said that neither did I give assurance to those who are frightened, vitevyo na bhayam dartam, nor did I make those who are suffering happy. Artanam arta na sukhina kirta, dukhaya keval matur. So in order to give pain to only the mother, gato asmi garbhasalletam. So I went inside the womb of the mother, like a thorn in the womb, okay, in order to give the pain, the delivery pain. When a mother gives delivery to a child, there's a tremendous pain. So he's remembering that he gave my mother gave birth to me. She bears so much suffering for me, but I just wasted this life. Looks like only I came to give suffering to my mom, labor pain. I didn't do any virtuous deed to collect, and in order to collect, and you need so much virtue in order to realize enlightenment. And I haven't even collected tiny bit of virtues. That's what he's saying in stanza 38. Dharma chanda biyogena paurvikena mamaduna. So now he's saying what is the result of his this state, current state, where he's not able to remove his fault and he's not able to accumulate the virtues. He's talking about it. Dharma chanda biyogena paurvikena mamaduna. Vipatti ridisi jata ko dharme chanda mutsijet. Okay, because I was separated from the desire for the dharma in the past. I didn't have any interest in Buddha. I didn't have any interest in dharma. I didn't have any interest in sangha. That is why such adversities has arisen for me now, that I'm not able to remove my fault. I'm living my life with depression. Now, having found this cause of suffering, who would abandon the delight in the dharma? I'm not going to repeat that mistake again. I'm not going to separate myself from the desire for dharma, because I was separated from the desire for the dharma in the past. I'm experiencing some type of adversities, which is blocking me to go to collect the virtues and remove the fault. Now I'm not going to separate myself from this desire for the dharma. So now he in previous stanza he was talking about certain type of strength you should have, like power of desire, power of firmness, power of pride, proud of power of patience, renunciation, wisdom, self-control. So he is now starting to go or elaborate those things more in more detail. Okay, now he is elaborating about the desire. So he's thinking about what might be the cause of my sufferings. My cause of my sufferings, like I didn't have desire for the dharma in the past. So now I don't want to repeat same mistake. I will not abandon the delight in the dharma. That's what he's saying in this stanza 39. कुशलानां च सर्वेषां छन्दं मूलं मुनिर्जगौ तस्यापि मूलं सततं विपाक फलभावना. Okay, so in this stanza, Acharya Santideva is saying the Muni is another way of saying Buddha. So if you translate Muni in English, it calls sage, but it is referring to Buddha. Okay, the sage has said that the Buddha has said that root of any virtuous deed is the desire. Okay, if you have desire, then only you do the things. Okay, any virtue or non-virtue. But if the root of the desire to do virtue is continuous contemplation about the consequences of own actions. If you think about what would be the consequence of this this desire, these actions, then your desire to do non-virtuous deed will be removed, and the desire to do the virtuous deed will increase. Okay, so we need the desire to do virtuous deed, and we need the desire to not do non-virtuous deed. Okay, so this desire is very important um, to do the virtuous deed, and the root of this desire, development desire, is the contemplation or continuous contemplation of the about the consequence of your action, own actions. Tasyapi mulam satatam vipaka phala bhavana. दुःखानि दौरमनस्यानि भयानि विविधानि च अभिलाष विघाताश्च जायन्ते पापकारिणाम्. Now, in this stanza, now he's saying that those who have committed, or who have acted non-virtuously in the past, they have to bear, different of physical and mental sufferings, fears, obstacles in the desired, what they're desiring will be produced. For this type of person who have acted non-virtually, or who acts non-virtually. Whereas manoratha subha kritam etra etraiva gacchati tatra tatraiva tatpunne phalargena vibhuchyate. Whereas wherever the one who acts virtuously goes, there are their wishes. There, wherever they go, in that place, their wishes will be honored by fruitful offering. Okay, good offering, happy offerings, because of their virtue. Okay, if you are getting suffering, it was because wherever you go, in beautiful, even a beautiful place you go, you will suffer there because of the consequence of your past non-virtuous deed. So same place might be very very pleasant for one person, and same place can be very very difficult for another person. This is happening because they are getting followed by their past actions, virtuous actions or non-virtuous actions. So wherever, if you do the virtuous action, wherever you go, no matter how beautiful place it, but you will bear the suffering there. That's what Acharya Sandideva is saying in stanza 41 and 42. Okay, papakari sukhetsaya, papakari sukhetsa tu etra etraiva gacchati tatra tatraiva tatpapai dukha shastrai vihanyate. So those who do non-virtuous deed, or who acts non-virtuously, wherever they go, their wish is for the happiness. Okay, you wish the happiness and you go certain place in the hope that you will get happiness there, but your wish will be destroyed by the weapon of suffering, and this is happening because of your own non-virtuous deeds. So you cannot escape from your non-virtue by going to certain place. Your past non-virtue will make certain place hell or hell. Okay, there is no absolute hell and there is no absolute heaven in Buddhism. According to Buddhism, your own previous non-virtuous act or virtuous act will decide whether some place will be hell for you or heaven for you. Where certain place will be hell for you or heaven for you. Same place will be heaven for someone who acted virtuously, and same place will be hell for someone who has acted non-virtuously in the past. That's what he is saying here in stanza 43. Now he will be talking in stanza 44 and 43 how someone who has done really lots of virtues will get rebirth, in the realm of Buddha. and who someone who has done tremendous heinous act in the past will get born in the hell. So he's comparing this the two birth of enlightened being or bodhisattva, or the hell being. Okay, so in stanza 44 he says Vipula Sugandhi Sitala Saroruha Garbhagata. Vipula means tremendous, Sugandha means fragrance, Sital means cool, and Saroruha means lotus. Okay, so when someone who does some virtuous deeds, tremendous who have accumulated tremendous amount of merits, when their result of that virtuous deed ripens, when he or she leaves the body in this earth, their mind goes inside the such a beautiful big lotus, which is really fragmented and very cool, pleasant environment inside that lotus. And inside there, that mind inside enters inside that lotus, and then there that mind will soak all the voice of the Buddha. Jina means Madhura Jina Sora, means the very sweet voice of Jina means Buddha. Okay, he will absorb those sweet melodious voice of Jina or Buddha, and then he get taught by himself. Buddha Muni himself means Buddha himself, by hearing those teachings, sweet voice inside, from inside the lotus. Their bodies start growing, and slowly that beautiful body emerges out. Muni jina Madhura jina swarasana krito pachita dyutaya. So the body which is getting getting brighter and stronger by taking the food of the sweet voice of Jina, and then getting taught by himself, Buddha himself or Muni himself, the body, the Muni Kara Bodhita Mbuja, so getting taught by Muni himself, Ambuja Binirgata Sadhvapusa. So by taking the beautiful body, they come out, emerge out of the lotus, the body. That's how their birth happened there. Okay, they don't need to go inside the womb of mom. They go inside the womb of lotus, which is really cool and present, well fragmented, and where they can hear the voice of Buddha, teaching of the Buddha, and their body start by eating those, soaking those, consuming those teachings and Buddha's voice, all those, the body start becoming strong and brighten, and when the time ripens, they just emerge out of the lotus and they become the son of Buddha, heir of the Buddha, or bodhisattva, same thing. Okay, in the presence of Buddha himself. And this all happens because of their own virtue. Sugata Sutta Bhavanti, they become the son of the Buddha, Sugata Sepura, in front of Sugat himself, or Buddha himself. How? Because of their own virtuous deeds. So because they collected so much virtue, that the virtue ripen, and they take birth in the lotus in front of Buddha, where they can assess the teaching of Buddha, and then their bodies start growing beautiful and brightened. And when the time to take birth or get out, emerge out of that lotus ripens, then they get out from that lotus with the beautiful body in front of Buddha, and they become the Buddha's son. Okay, see how nice to hear that you become the son of Buddha. Okay, that's how the people who have gathered the virtues take rebirth in Buddha land. Now, someone who has done heinous crime, let's see how they get born in the hell. Ema purusa panita Okay, being dragged by the Emapurus means the messenger of God. It was a scary type of appearance. They are dragging you, on the where they dragging you on the there is Sutapta Loha Dharani, very hot iron floor. They're dragging you, and your body Huta Vahata Pa Vidrutaka Tamras Nisiktatanahu means your body will be really soaked, immersed or drenched by hot molten copper. It will be poured on your body. Imagine the heat, burning sensation. Imagine the cry of agony, Artaravo. So imagine the sound of agony, cry of agony. And your meat is cut into several pieces due to forceful strike of blazing sword. Okay, Zoladasi, Sakti Ghata, Satasati, the Mansadala. So your Mansadala means your muscles, breaking into pieces, 100 pieces, because of Sakti Ghata means strong, strong forceful strike by Zoladasi means burning sword, and you fall down. Patati means fall down in that very hot iron floor several times. Why this is happening? Because of your non-virtues. Because you committed really heinous crime. If you kill someone, if you kill your dad mom, you kill your arhat, if you injure Buddha, if you do harmful act, then your birth will be like that in the hell realm. So compare the birth of realized being bodhisattvas who have accumulated tremendous amount of virtues, and who have collected tremendous amount of non-virtues. So that's how birth happens in the Buddha land and hell. Tasmat karya subha chando bhava ittevam adarat. Okay, that is why having contemplated honestly in this way means like we contemplated how the birth happens. Okay, what is the result of virtuous deed and what is the result of non-virtuous deed. Having contemplated this thing in honestly, okay, you are doing the contemplation for yourself, not to others, to show other people how virtuous practitioner you are. Okay, you're doing this thing contemplation honestly for yourself. One should aspire for the virtuous deed and should start the practice with pride, as shown in Vajradhoja Sutra. So he is talking about one sutra. There might be, I didn't find this sutra. There might be, written, what are the virtuous deed and what are the non-virtuous deeds. It's nothing, but it's just a harmful deed you commit through your body, speech, and mind. 10 non-virtuous deed. I'm sure it must be mentioned there in this sutra, but I didn't find the sutra itself. So 10 non-virtuous deeds you should not do, and you should always aspire to do those 10 non-virtuous deeds. Three non-virtuous deeds: killing, stealing, lying, sexual misconduct, lying, divisive word, quarreling or making other people quarrel, gossip, and then remaining three is done by your mind, malice, and then coveting, and then having wrong view, that not believing in the karmas, causes and karmas. Those are the all non-virtuous deed, and you need to having understand what are the result of non-virtuous deed. You should always aspire and should start practice with pride, as shown in the Vajradhoja Sutra. That's what he's saying in stanza 46. Tasmat karyam subha chando bhavaittaivam adarat vajradhojastha vidinam vidina manam twaramba bhavait. In stanza 47, he says, Purvam nirupya samagrim arambhe narambet arabet va arambho baram anarambho baram nama natvarabhya nivartanam. So he is saying that before you start anything, um, you need to understand what are the things you require to complete this task. If you have any energy in you to complete that task, if you have the necessary things, necessary skill in you to complete any task, and if you think that you don't have any skill, you don't have any materials to finish any task, then do not start. It is better not to stop, um, rather than stopping in the middle without completing that task. Is better to not start. That's what he's saying. Why it's better? Because janmantarepi so abhyas papa dukkham cha barjate. So if you have got that habit of starting something and not finishing, and then starting another work, and then leaving that in the middle and then starting another one, it's like you don't complete any task. Neither this task will complete, will finish, nor the another task will become effective. So and this is habit. If you keep on doing this thing, it will become your habit, and then this habit will go with you, and it will keep on creating the suffering, more suffering. So if you are not capable of doing something, now he's talking about your strength. If you are capable of doing something, then do it. Doing and finishing it, then start it. But if you don't have that skill, if you don't have that material, if you don't have that time, if you don't have that capacity, then don't start it. Rather than stopping it in the middle, it's better not to start. That's what he's saying in stanza 48. Okay, now after finishing talking about desire and formness, power of desire and power of formness, he's starting to talk about the power of pride, the power of type of pride you need to have in order to work, or advance in the path of Buddhas. त्रिषु मानो विधातव्य क्लेशशक्तिषु मयैवैकेन कर्तव्यम् इत्येषां कर्ममानिता. Trisu mano vidatavya. So one should have, pride on, or dignity on three things. Okay, what are those three things? Karma, action; upaklesa, cause of defilements; and sakti, means your own ability. So you should have dignity or pride in these three things. Okay, mayaivaikena kartavyam. Now, and this should be done by myself. Everything should be done myself. Esam iti esam karma manita. So this way of thinking is called the dignity of action. So he was listing three type of dignity you should have. Now he says that everything should be done myself. This is called the dignity of action. So you should have this dignity of action, this pride of actions. क्लेशो स्वतन्त्रो लोको अयं न क्षेम स्वार्थ साधने तस्मात् मयैषां कर्तव्यं नासक्तो अहं यथा जन. क्लेश स्वतन्त्रो लोकोयम न क्षेम स्वार्थ साधने. Okay, this world, okay, lok means this world, has bind itself to the affliction. Klesho swatantro loko. Yeah, this world has bind itself to the affliction. It is under the affliction, influence of afflictions such like anger, attachment, ignorance. Nachema swarta sadhana. This that is why this world doesn't have capacity to act for own benefit. तस्मात् मयैषां कर्तव्यम्. That is why I should act for them. न सक्तो हम यथा जन. I am not incapable as these people. So he's talking about the pride of, pride of the action. Nis karmam karotyanya katham mai api tishtati. So how can another person do lowly tasks when I'm present here? Manaschenna karomi etan mano nasyetu me baram. If due to arrogance, if I don't do any lowly tasks, then it's better my arrogance gets destroyed. Okay, so he's now differentiating between what is it like having pride and what's how this pride differentiate between how is different than having arrogance. Okay, most of the people who have the power, who have money, who are beautiful, who have high society, who lives in a, who are considered high in society, um, sometimes they mistake arrogance as a pride. Okay, pride has, that self confidence that I can do anything, whether it's a big task or small lowly task, and there's compassion involved there, because you think that these all people, I am capable, I am strong, I'm capable of doing this. These other peoples are not capable, so there's compassion there. So you do things for sake of other beings. But arrogance people think that, oh, I'm this, I have this money, why should I do the lowly things? I can hire anyone to do things for me. So this type of attitude or arrogant will not, they will not go and do the lowly things for the if you have those type of attitude or arrogance that, I'm rich, why would I do the lowly things, then you will not go down to the poor peoples and help them. Okay, so this type of arrogance is not good for the practice of enthusiasm. Okay, so for the practice of enthusiasm, you need to have the dignity of action, confidence that you are able to do everything, and plus there should be compassion in you, that saying that seeing other people weaker, and why should they do things when I'm more skilled, I'm capable of doing things, I'm present here for them, why should they do, I should be doing those things. So that type of attitude you need for the practice of enthusiasm. Okay, that's what he said. So manas chet karometan mano nasetu me baram. If I'm not doing any tasks, lowly tasks, because of the arrogance, then it's better to destroy this type of arrogance, because this is not the type of pride we need in order to advance in the Buddha's path. मृतं दण्डुभमासाद्य काकोऽपि गरुडायते आपादबाध्यते स्वल्पापि मनो मे यदि दुर्लभम्. Okay, so here he is saying that, if you are weak mind, just like when Garud means eagle. Okay, so eagle can kill the snake, not the crow. Okay, crow can't fight with the snake. Only eagle can fight with the snake. But when a snake is dead, then crow acts like an eagle. Okay, so he goes and fight with the eagle. It will try to eat snake. So Acharya Shantideva is saying, having found the dead snake, even a crow acts like a eagle. And if you are depressed, if your mind is depressed, then you are like a dead snake, and even a minor trouble will trouble you. Okay, that's what he's saying. Apad badyate solpapi manome didurlabam. If my mind is weak and I'm like a dead snake, and even a small problems will act like an eagle and attack me or overpower me. Okay, that's what he's saying in this stanza 52. 5 more slides. विषादकृतनिष्टेष्टे आपात्सुकरा ननु वित्थितचेष्टमानस्तु महतामपि दुर्जय. So he's saying that who keeps on trying, even if you are, hit by trouble, you just get up, keep trying. Then with this type of practice, even a big type of problems cannot win this type of attitude. And cannot win the person who has this type of attitude. But someone who just feel depressed and hopeless, even with the small obstacles, then for them even the smallest obstacles will hamper them. Even a disaster, he's saying sukarana, apa sukarana. So disaster will strike them very easily to someone who easily get depressed and become hopeless. But if someone who is energetic, who keep on trying, then that type of person becomes invisible even by big problems. Even a big problems can create the obstacle for this type of people who are energetic, who keep on trying. तस्मात् दृढेन चित्तेन करोम्यापादमापद त्रैलोक्यविजिगीषु त्वं हास्यमापज्जितस्य मे. Here he is talking about the strength of firmness, the power of your firmness, that doesn't matter what type of obstacles comes in front of you. You give the obstacle hard time to that obstacle itself. That is why you need to have the firm mind, firm attitude, and give the trouble to trouble itself. Otherwise, someone who is won by the obstacles, who is overpowered by the obstacles, his wish to win these three realms, Trailokya Vijigi Sutvam, is the subject of laughter. Hasyamapa Jitasya me. Okay, me who wants to win these three realms of existence. Okay, three realms are dissolving realm, form realm, and formless realm. So me, I want to win the suffering, get rid of the suffering of these three realms. And if I get overpowered by small problems, then my wish, that wish to win the three realm, is the subject of laughter, will become the subject of laughter. That's what he's saying. In stanza 54. So it's about, he's talking about the Stambol. He was talking, if you remember, in previous couple of stanzas ago, he was talking about the Stambol, the ball. I mean the haughtiness you should have, not to get distracted, discouraged by any type of obstacles which is coming in your path. Okay, he's talking about that power, Stambol, the strength of firmness, haughtiness. Maya hi sarvam jetavayam aham jeyo na kenajit. Okay, so he's again talking about the haughtiness. Okay, everyone should be won by me. Okay, I should win everyone. Aham jeyo na kenajit. No one should be winning me. I should not be beatable by anyone. No one can beat me. I should beat everyone. Okay, I mean trouble. He's talking about affliction. Okay, not beating human. I mean beating human beings. He's talking about beating the obstacles. Okay, afflictions. So maya hi sarvam jetavayam jeyo na kenachit aham jeyo na kenachit mayaisa mano bodhavim. This type of pride is very suitable for me to carry. मयैसं मानवोढव्यं जिन siham sutahayam. Why? Because I am the heir of the lion-hearted Jina, Buddha. Okay, the supreme being is the Buddha, the most enlightened being is the Buddha, and I'm in the path to become Buddha. So that in that sense, I'm the heir of the Buddha. I'm the future Buddha, and Buddhas are like lion-hearted. Okay, no one can scare them. So I should win everyone. No one should win me. That type of pride is very important for me to carry. Remember, there is difference between pride and arrogance. In the pride, there is compassion. In arrogance, there is no compassion. Okay. In the pride, there is wisdom of compassion. In the arrogance, there is ignorance of I am the best. That's the ignorance arrogant person. An arrogant person carries with them. But the person dignified person, who has dignity, who has pride, has that wisdom that because I am capable, I am skilled, I will help other beings. That is the attitude we need to have. We need to bear. That's what he's saying in stanza 55. ये सत्व मान विजिता बराकास्ते न मानिन मानी शत्रु बसम नैति मान शत्रु बसास्तते. So those beings who are under influence of own arrogance, they cannot be considered dignified person, because dignified person doesn't come under the influence of own afflictions. Okay, arrogance is also affliction, and the so-called arrogant person who think themselves as dignified are not the dignified. They are in fact poor person who are under the control of their own enemy in the form of pride. They are overpowered by their own arrogance. So that type of people cannot be called dignified person. Okay. मानेन दुर्गन्तिं नीता मानुष्येऽपि हतोत्सवा परपिण्डासिनो दासा मूर्खा दुर्दशना कृशा सर्वतः परिभूताश्च मानस्तब्दास्तपस्विन तेऽपि चेन्मानिना मध्ये dinastu badakidisa. Okay, here now he's describing how the arrogance people appear. Okay, their physical appearance, their mental inclinations, mental habits. These people, because of the so-called arrogant people who seems themselves as a dignified, but these people, because of their arrogance, they are getting pulled towards the suffering because of their arrogance. Okay, manina durganti nita. So they are carried towards the suffering because of their own arrogance, and they are always hatotsava. They are always worried about um, getting their pride removed, or whatever prestigious things they are in worry of losing them. Hatotsava. Even though they have got the precious human life, they are always depressed of losing whatever they have. Parapindasino means they wait for others. They wait other for food. If someone cooks food for them, then only they can eat. They don't have skill to even cook the food for themselves. Dasa means it's the self slave mentality. They are dependent on other people for food even. That's why have the slave mentality. They can't put their own shoes. They can't clean their own clothes. So this is the slave mentality. Murkha, stupid. They have this dire condition, but still thinks that they are, big people. You know, ugly. Some are so worried losing of their, status that they can't sleep, and that appears in their physical appearance. And they Durdasana, they look very ugly. Krisa, they look, they can't even enjoy the good food. Relax. They're just worrying about, losing their whatever they have, precious thing, whatever. And this all happens because of arrogance. Okay, sarvatra paribhutas, and because of their arrogance, people might be nice in front of them, but on the back they are getting always humiliated. Mana stabda, they are stiffened. There's no flexibility in them. They are like stiffened by arrogance. And if Acharya Santideva asks, Tepi chen manina madde, okay, if such type of beings are also considered dignified amongst other, then tell me how the miserable beings look like. Okay, he's wondering. Okay, so he's just trying to differentiate between pride and arrogance. Okay, so arrogance will take you towards the suffering, pride will take you towards the good rebirth.
ते मानिनो विजयिनश्च येसुरा ये मान शत्रु विजयाय बहन्ति मानम. Now here is now he is giving what is real meaning of man. Okay, pride. So he is saying that those people are dignified, those are victorious, those are brave, who in order to win the energy of inner enemy of pride carries the another healthy type of pride. ये तम स्फुरन्तमपि मानरिपुं निहत्य कामं जने जये फलं प्रतिपादयन्ति. Okay, so those who by destroying that developing enemy, spurantamapi manaripum, enemy of pride, nihatya kamam, by working to destroy that developing enemy of pride, they demonstrate the result of this victory to the world. So basically he's saying in this stanza that in order to be Buddha, you need to win your own pride. So if you win your own pride, then only you are the dignified person in real sense. You are the victorious one. If you win your own afflictions, if you win your own pride, if you win your own anger, if you win your own attachment, then only you are the real, in the real sense, you are the dignified person. You are the victorious person. You are the brave person. And by showing the result of that victory, or that by getting in my enlightenment because of winning over to own pride, they demonstrate in this way the result of winning over, the result of victory to the world. Okay, so here he's talking about the pride, strength of pride still. संक्लेश पक्ष मध्यस्थो भवेद्दीप्त सहस्रश दुर्योधन क्लेश गणै सिंहो मृग गणैरिव. So you should have this much of confidence that while you remain amongst the beings, who have disturbing emotions, who are angry, who are atheists, who are ignorant, you should remain while you are remaining amongst those type of people with disturbing emotions, then you should be 1,000 times brighter than them. You should not get affected by this group of afflicted beings. Just like a lion remains amongst the herd of deers, you should remain amongst this type of people who have disturbing emotions. Duryodhana Galesa Gade. So you should be remain unaffected. Duryodhana Klesa Gade, the unaffected by the group of afflicted beings, just like a lion remains unaffected by the group of deers. So you should be like that. You practice for that. You need the practice of enthusiasm, so that you have that strength to remain calmly in between amongst the beings who are angry. Okay, you are here to help them, so you need to have that skill to remain calm in the midst of emotional outburst. That's what he's saying in stanza 60. And these skills can be deep, practiced and perfected, because these skills are necessary if you want to help any beings. Someone will attack emotionally, so if you want to help that beings, then you should not be getting influenced by that being's anger. That's what he's saying here. Okay, 4 more stanzas. Mahatswamapi swapi mahatswapi hi kristresu. Kritsya means trouble. So mahat swapi hi kirtsesu nara samchachurichate. So your eye, when you see any object, your eye sees only. Okay, it doesn't experience the pain. Similarly, it doesn't hear the sound. It doesn't smell the smell. It doesn't taste the any taste. It doesn't have smelling sensation. It doesn't have tasting sensation. It doesn't have hearing sensation. It just sees. Similarly, evam kristra mapi prapye. Even though if you are experiencing difficulties, na klesa vasago bhave. You should not go under the influence of emotion. Okay, so even though difficulties come, even the obstacles come, you should not go under the influence of those difficulties or any emotions. Edevapadyate karma tat karma vyasani bhavet.
Tatkarma sondo triptatma kridafala suketsuvat. Okay, now he's starting to talk about the strength of passions. Okay, he talked about the pride. Now strength of passions. Okay, so you need to have so much passionate about whatever tasks come to you that you become addicted to that task. Edeva padyate karma. Whatever tasks come to you, tat karma besani bhavet. So you become addicted to that task. Okay. Tat karma sondo tipta atma. So you should sondo means devote. Okay. So you need to devote yourself to that task. As if someone who is unsatisfied, like a unsatisfied soul seeking happiness, sukhep suvat, seeking happiness on the result of the action. Krida phala sukhe suvat. So someone who is seeking, happiness on the result. That's why he or she is so devoted in the action. So you need to be that much devoted. So you need to show that type of devotion to whatever tasks you are getting. Okay, especially he's talking about the virtuous tax. Okay, not virtuous tax. सुखार्थं क्रियते कर्म तथापि स्यान् न वा सुखम् कर्मेव tu sukham tas yasya niskarma sa sukhi katam. So he's saying that all the type of activities we do in our life is in the hope of happiness, and we might get happiness or not. There is no guarantee that we'll get happiness from any type of task we're doing. For every time, from every type of task we are doing, sometimes we get happiness from any task, sometimes we don't. But however, for someone for someone, activity itself is happiness. How can they be happy staying inactive? So those type of people who find happiness in activity, they don't think about the result. Okay, the activity itself is happiness for them. And this type of people, how they can't stay idle. Staying idle doesn't make them happy. That's why you should generate the effort to find the happiness on activity itself. Doesn't matter, you will give happiness at the result is happy or not, but you just devote yourself in doing that activity perfectly. कामै न तृप्ति संसारे छुर धारा मधुपमै पुण्यामृतै कथम प्रीप्ति विपाक मधुरै शिवै. Just like the honey is coated on the sharp edge, if you try to find happiness of that of that honey, of having that honey by licking it, which is coated on the sharp edge of the knife, then that type of happiness will never give you satisfaction in this world. Similarly, the sense pleasure will not give satisfaction. So no matter how much you enjoy that sense pleasure, it's like enjoying the sense pleasure of having that honey which is coated on the life. Your tongue will be, if you enjoy honey, in the attempt to enjoy that taste of honey, you lick the sharp edge of the knife and cut yourself, injure yourself. In the same way, all the sensual pleasures are same like that. You hurt yourself. No matter how much you enjoy, try to find enjoyment, happiness in that sense pleasure. It ultimately, or in eventually, it will hurt you. So it will not give that satisfaction. The sense pleasures will not give satisfaction in the world. But if you do virtuous deed, you will get satisfaction. How? Because it will lead to, or it will produce the pleasant, auspicious result. So by giving pleasant, auspicious result, your virtuous deed, the time and effort you devoted in doing any type of virtuous deed, will give you satisfaction by producing the pleasant, auspicious result. Okay. So rather than getting involved with the worldly activity, this stanza is targeted about no, not the lazy type of people, depressed type of people, but it's targeted toward the so-called active people who can't stay still, who is just running behind the sensual pleasure, object of sense pleasure. They're running about behind the wealth to accumulate the wealth. They are running to accumulate the prestige in the society. They're running to accumulate the you know honors, wealth, beautiful things. So they're just exhausting themselves running behind these things, thinking that they will give you long lasting pleasure, satisfaction in the world. But Acharya Santideva is saying no, they're not going to give you pleasure. It is like you are trying to find the pleasure by licking the honey which is coated on the knife, sharp edge of the knife. Eventually it will create trouble for you. But if you devote your time doing the virtuous deed, then it will produce the good result, pleasant, auspicious, Madurai Sivai, Vipaka Madurai Sivai. So by producing pleasant, auspicious result, it will give you satisfaction in the world. Tasmat karma vasanepi nimajjet tatra karmani. And once you are doing some work, and once that work is finished, then even though that work is finished, that virtuous activity is finished, you should remain immersed in the memory of that activity, like you are enjoying that virtuous deed you have done just now, virtuous activity you have accomplished, finished just now. Just like the first thing, an elephant, curry means elephant here, when elephant who is feeling who is burned in the middle of scorching heat does on finding the pond. When an elephant, if you have seen in the desert or in hot, I mean desert, you don't find elephant, but in the hot place, when I'm sure the okay, so when elephant finds the any cool pond water in the hot scorching heat, it will just jump as soon as it will see, and it will just spread water all over his body, and having after that, then it will just remain in there even after getting cold. So you need to remain like that, enjoying the memories, in the memories of your virtuous deed, as if you are saying sadhu sadhu to yourself. Well done, Babita, you did the good virtuous deed. In that memory you should stay. That's what this stanza 65 meant. Even after finishing the virtuous activity, you should remain immersed in the memory of the activity, just like the first thing an elephant will do, which is born in the midday, scorching heat, will do on finding of one pond. बलनाशानुबन्धेतु पुनः कर्तुं परित्यजेत् सुसमाप्तं च तन्मुच्येत् उत्तरोत्तर तृष्णया. Okay, so if you think that any activity will consume or drain out all the energy from you, then you should stop doing that. So here now he's talking about the strength of renunciation, giving up, letting go. Okay, so he finished talking about power of desire, power of firmness, power of pride, power of passions. Now he's talking about the power of renunciation. So if you see any task is too much for you, it will drain all the energy out of you, and it will make you, energyless, and then you will not be able to devote your time for the practice. Then you should drop it, and by thinking that maybe later when I become more stronger, I will do this task again. But for now, if you are not capable, you need to let it go. And also susamaptam cha tanmujjet uttarottara tisna. And then once you have completed the task, well completed any task, then you need to let it go with the wish, with the mentality that I will do, may I do other tasks more effectively, more effectively. With that mentality, you need to let go of the completed tasks. You don't get attached to the tasks. Okay, you enjoy the memory, as he says in the stanza 65, but let it go. Don't get stuck with the tasks which is finished, and don't get stuck with the tasks which is too difficult for you. Okay, so you just need to balance yourself there. Need to find out what is your capacity, and then happily renounce it, let it go if you are not capable of doing. So don't try to be, I don't know what is the word I'm looking after here. Superman, superwoman, human. Don't try to be Superman, just be human. क्लेशप्रहारात् संरक्षेत् क्लेशाश्च प्रहरेत् दृढम् खड्गयुद्धमिवापन्न शिक्षितेनारिण सह. Okay, so he's now giving the example of battlefield where there is sword fighting going on. So when any skilled person who comes for the sword fighting Khadaga Yuddha Mivapanna, so who has come for the sword fighting in the battlefield. How he will fight? He will protect from the attack from the enemy, and by protecting himself, he will attack that enemy. In the same way, one should attack the afflictions, okay, strongly by protecting oneself from attack of affliction. So you should not let affliction attack you. You should attack afflictions by protecting oneself from that, backfire of affliction. So he is saying you just measure the risks, and measure your capacity. Okay, do the things which you are able to do. Otherwise, it will backfire on you. Okay, just carry the log which you are able to carry. Don't drain yourself. Don't drain your energy. Don't let any tasks drain your energy out of you. Don't let any task tire you, because you have to sit in the cushion and practice. Otherwise, you will be like a worldly being, like running after fame and name, money. Okay, we are not here to run about fame and money or wealth or reputation. We are here after perfect certain skills. Here we are after perfecting the skill of enthusiasm. So you should always have that in your mind. Does this activity help me to perfect this skill? Go for it. But if it's draining your energy out of you, taking too much time and making you emotional, that means you are getting influenced or getting attacked by afflictions. So you should always be like a skill fighter, sword fighter who saves oneself and attacks enemy. Doesn't get attacked by the enemy. Is the meaning of stanza 67. Tatra khadkam yatha bhrastam grihiyat sabhayestwaram smiti khadkam tatha bhrastam grihiyan narakan smaran. Okay, my energy is draining out now. So only two two slides left. So I'm just gathering all the energies to stay, form. So let's finish this one. Then I will finish. So how many stanzas left? 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, hardly 8, including this 86 stanza. Stanza 80, sorry, 68. Okay, let's go forward. So he's saying that it's just now the context is still with the sword fighting there. So he's saying that in the battlefield, if the sword falls from your hand, what you do, what that fighter will do, it will immediately take that sword back in the fear out of the fear of getting attacked from the enemy. So you need to similar fear of suffering of the hell, Narakan Smaran. By remembering the hills, you need to get that mindfulness, sort of mindfulness of what is virtuous and what is non-virtuous. You immediately should take that sort of mindfulness, remembering the suffering of the hills. So you should always in your mind, you should be mindful of your activity, whether it will take you to the hell, or it will take you to the good fortunate birth. If you see that your activity it will take you towards the hell, then you should be fearful of the suffering of that hell and immediately bring your mindfulness on your activity and turn it into the virtuous activity. That's what he's saying in stanza 68. Remain in 7. Okay, we're getting there. विषमरुधिरमासाद्य प्रसरपति यथातनौ तथैव छिद्रमासाद्य दोषचित्ते प्रसरपति. Okay, just like when any poison reaches your bloodstream, it will easily spread all over your body. if any germ reaches the bloodstream, sepsis, you must have heard about sepsis. If the bacteria reaches in the blood, it will affect each and every part of your body, organ of your body. Similarly, on finding minor weakness, point, weakness, then a weak point in your mind, and that means when you are emotional, then the false creeps into the mind. So you need to be always alert about what is happening emotionally inside you. Otherwise, if you these emotions are the weak point. Here he has called chidra, means small pore. He meant that means he's talking about the minor faults, weakness. If you are depressed, if you are in sad mood, then all the other fault. He's talking about upaklesa, the small faults which can lead to the generation of the big faults, big afflictions. He's talking about to be mindful of these small faults, weakness, small laziness or depression that arises. If it's like small fire, if there is fire while it's small, if you don't do anything, then it will just become big. So in the moment of your weakness, if you are not fine and being mindful, then bigger faults will creep into your mind. So he's alerting, be mindful of what happening in your emotionally in your mind. Tela Taila patra dharo yedvat. So just like a person who is carrying oil filled container, siya hastair adishtita, in front of whom someone who is carrying the, a personnel who is carrying the sword is in front, walking, watching you, and you are carrying the, container which is filled with oil. And if even one drop falls from that container, that person will attack you, might kill you. So how alert he will become? Skalite maranda trasat, in the fear, out of fear of, if you drop even if you spill even a drop of that oil, you get killed. How alert you become? Tatpara syata tathavarti. So in this way, the practitioner should become alert of what is happening in your mind. Okay, even a small weakness can have potential to push you towards the suffering. That's why you need to be very alert. तस्मात् उत्सर्गे सर्पे उत्तिष्ठति सत्वरम् निद्रालस्यागमे तद्वत् प्रतिकुर्वीत सत्वरम्. Okay, 71 stanza. He says, that is why, just like if you are sitting and then if you see if a snake, out of somewhere, falls in your lap, how fast you get stand up, within a moment you will stand up. Similarly, if you see a rising of sleepiness and laziness, you need to counteract that laziness and sleepiness immediately. They should be counteracted immediately. Nidra lasya agame, on seeing that nidra and sleepiness and laziness is coming, arising, you need to partikurvita saturam. You need to counteract that immediately. एकैकस्मिन् स्थले सुष्ठु परितप्य विचन्ते तयेत् कथं करोमि येनेदं पुनर्मे न भवेद् इति. Okay, here he is talking about each and every deceiving thoughts or activities should be contemplated with great fear, thoroughly. Sustu means thoroughly. And you should think that how should I act next time so that this non-virtuous deed or this non-virtue is not repeated again by me. So you need to be that alert. If you do any mistake, you should be alert, that you should think that, oh, I did mistake, I will have to now, if I keep on doing this, it will become my habit. How should I act next time that I don't repeat it again? You should need to think, you should think like that, with great fear, great worries. Okay, for the each and every false or deceitful acts, you need to think like that. Okay, last three. Sansargam karmam va praptam ichedetena hetuna katham nama swavastasu smrityabhyaso bhavet iti. So with the, or the result, or the, seed of doing, we talk about causes and conditions and result, cause and effect. Okay, so cause is the action you do now, and the result you'll experience tomorrow. So whatever virtuous deed you do, that is the cause. Okay, now, so he's saying that as a result of doing these virtuous deeds, one should, always wish to obtain good association or good result or good karma. And one should always think that how can the practice of mindfulness become possible in this situation. No matter what type of situation you are in, you should always think, how can I do my practice of mindfulness in this situation? How could this obstacle which is appearing in front of me cannot stop me? So you should be thinking like that. So whatever virtuous deed, you dedicate that virtuous deed in this way, that your mindfulness is not affected. So that you get to get your karma ripen, so that you get the good association, good friends, good spiritual friends. Okay, that's the stanza 73 is saying lagum kuryat tathatmanam apramada katham smaran karmagamat yatha purvam satcha sarvatra vartate. Okay, second last. So he's saying, like, just like a skilled person, always remain, well prepared for doing any attacks. Okay, you always prepare for the worst. Okay, and then keep yourself well grounded. Okay, you don't need to so high-fi think that you are so much educated or knowledgeable. You just stay humble by recalling the stories of, self-control of enlightened ones. So what are the benefit of being self-control? What is the benefit of being arrogance? I mean, disadvantage of being arrogance. You need to recall those stories. Those are collected in the Jatak Katha. So you can read those stories and keep yourself grounded. Even the enlightened being were acting so humbly, then how can I be so arrogant? So you can inspire yourself by going through those stories, but you always get prepared. Don't show it to others, the arrogance, but always get prepared for any type of action. Just like a, well skilled person, knowledgeable person keeps themselves humble, you keep yourself humble. How do you do that? You go through the stories of Buddha and you get inspired by them. For example, a story of Namo Buddha, where Buddha has given your own meat to the tigress, pregnant tigress, and because she was so hungry and her children were so hungry, that so he got so compassionate, so compassion arise, that in that compassion he just cut his own meat and gave to tigress and died there. So you see, Buddha and Bodhisattva do those type of conducts. There's no way I can be comparable, my compassion can be comparable to them. So what's the point of showing arrogance? So if you think that, then you become humble. Okay, and then last, ethaiva tulakam bayor gamana gamane basam ethotsaha basam yayat riddhisaivam samriddhyati. Okay, so here he's saying that just like a cotton is dependent on the direction of flow of air, Similarly, one should go under the control of enthusiasm. Okay, so you should practice the enthusiasm and get under the control of enthusiasm, and that enthusiasm will take you towards the body. Okay, without enthusiasm, you can't reach, you can't attain the body. So you need to develop that, perfect that skill, and get under the control of that enthusiasm, and that enthusiasm will take you toward the body. And then also perfection is also attained, other perfections, perfections of wisdom, perfection of meditation, perfection of patience, perfection of ethical conducts, perfection of generosity. Those perfections will be attained in this way, by getting under the influence of enthusiasm. We finish the chapter 7 also. Okay, so now chapter 8, chapter 9 and 10, and then we'll finish. Okay, so this chapter, these two chapters, coming chapters, chapter 8 and 9 are also long, so it will take some time to finish that. Within this year, maybe, I'm hopeful we'll finish this Bodhicharya Avatara. Okay, so let's end this one here, and let's dedicate whatever merits we collected by doing this virtuous deed of me creating this slide, translating, and then explaining these verses, and you creating the virtuous deed by listening these slides. I mean, this might hissing, whatever whatever I'm blabbering here, by listening that we created the virtues. Okay, so let's dedicate that virtue for the benefit of all the enlightened beings, whoever are distressed here, whoever are depressed, whoever are not finding that energy to get out from the bed and practice, as well as those who are just exhausting themselves by running behind the all those worldly things, and forgetting that one day you will die and these worldly things will not go with you, and the mind training, the trained mind will go with you. Who has forgotten that, they 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 find the way to realize their mistake and find the time to not exhaust themselves and sit in the cushion and practice. Okay, let's dedicate our merits in this way. Okay, see you next time with another chapter. Until then, stay safe. Bhavatu Sarva Mangalam.